Hi guys, we are here to do a pick a card reading for how do you impact others. So we have pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. Timestamps will be listed down below in the description box, as well as the decks and cards that I am using. Feel free to pause the video if you guys need more time to select one of the piles. All right, pile number 1, if you guys chose this deck or this beautiful stone, the root chakra stone, this is going to be your guys' reading for how do you guys impact others. Okay, pile number 1. How do you impact other people? So already I'm noticing something here for you guys. When we chose that root chakra stone, you also happen to get the root chakra card. So I feel like a lot of you guys are very practical and very grounding. So that's one thing that people automatically notice about you, is that you just seem like a very practical person. You are somebody that I feel like is very straightforward and tell people what it's like, even if you don't. So you know how there are people out there that really love to sugarcoat things, and they really like to put it out there, like they don't want to tell people exactly what they think of them. I feel like you're the type of person that doesn't really mind telling people exactly what you think and how you feel when it comes towards a specific person. So I feel like you guys are that type of person that doesn't have an issue telling people like it is. And I think that's a lot of people respect you for that, but there's also a lot of people who have a very hard time understanding that. For some people, they think that maybe you're rude or that you come off kind of like a biatch because of that, because you have that straightforwardness to you. But I feel that pile number 1, a lot of the people in your life actually really appreciate that about you, because they know that you're going to give real solid advice, or that you're not going to lie to them. And so the people that do respect that about you and do admire that about you are the ones that really gravitate towards you. Because I feel like there are a lot of people that when they first meet you, pile number 1, they either like you or they don't like you. And I think you may notice that in your everyday life when you go out to parties, or when you just go out to work, or when you do certain things. You'll notice certain people gravitate to you and other people may be kind of repelled by you, because you have this gravity about you. There's something about your energy that kind of comes off like, don't mess with me. It's like very real, raw energy that you kind of possess. And I feel like for a lot of people, when they come across you, they do not expect you to be the way that you actually are. It's almost as though your appearance does not match your personality. So when people first meet you, you might come off maybe really sweet looking, or you come off like one way, but you're almost like a contrast. So it's almost like you contradict yourself, but not really, because the way you look people must be like, oh, I could take advantage of this person. But then when they come across you, you have like firm boundaries, or there's something about you that kind of comes off like, oh, I can't mess with this person. And so people who do try to mess with you quickly realize that they are sadly mistaken, that they cannot just mess with you. There's something definitely about the way you communicate. I don't know if you are a Gemini or a Leo that has shown through, but you definitely have a lot of those Gemini and Leo traits to you, because I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're the type of person who is very practical and down to earth, to the point where when people tell you something, you'll be the type of person that will be like, okay, well, how can I actually make this better, or how can I improve upon this? So you're not the type of person who just wishes upon a star and doesn't get anything done. You actually take practical actions, and I think that's something that a lot of people see about you. One of the things as well is a lot of people underestimate your abilities, and I think that it's because some people do not realize how intelligent you really are. I think when you first come across people, you're not really necessarily the type of person that just freely gives away your energy or just tells people all these different things about you. I feel like you guys are a little bit afraid to, not really afraid. I think that you are reserved, and it takes a minute for people to really get to know you. So people will make a lot of assumptions about you, pile number one, but it's just because of their beliefs or the way that they perceive you. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, some people really think that you can be kind of cold or that you're very standoffish. But in actuality, I think a lot of you guys are very kind and sweet, but you're only kind and sweet to the people that mean the most to you, or the people that have proved themselves to you. I feel like this has been the pile that has been heartbroken a lot of times. And so when you come across, when it comes to dating, maybe you put up a little bit of a wall, or you're a little bit protective of your energy, and people may misconstrue that or not understand why you do or say certain things. So sometimes people get the wrong opinion of you. But I feel like the people that do choose to stick around start to learn that there are multiple layers to you. So it's like you're the type of person that people cannot just take as face value, because you maybe project one way, but in actuality, you're a different way. So I feel like you're very multifaceted in different ways that people just do not understand when they first initially meet you. Because I feel like pile number one, you're the type of person that, like I said, people really rely on you. They think that you give very good, sound, solid advice. Like for instance here, we have here Gemini, information to explain, communication about, resulting from, fluent rates, everything. So I feel like you guys just really come off as a very, very intelligent person. You know a lot of random things too. So when people ask a question, you'll actually have the answer to that, because maybe you've just learned about it or you heard about it. There's something about you guys that definitely seems very like I said, very multifaceted. I think you guys I don't know if you guys read, but there's definitely something about you guys that you just know a lot about yourself. You know a lot about certain things, certain topics. A lot of people think that you, I don't know if you're a teacher, right? Because there's something about you guys that come off very grounded, but very knowledgeable. So when people meet you, the way that you impact people is your knowledge, the way that you understand how certain things work. And that actually does help people, because people, when they think back at you, they'll be like, wow, I learned that from so-and-so, or they'll think back at you. So a lot of the people that aren't even in your life anymore, I feel like you still impact them, because there's something about you that is very wise and very knowing in a lot of different things. Another thing too that really makes people think about you is the way that you impact people when it comes to your work, because the 6th house and the 10th house both can indicate workplace, and I feel like you really impact people. I don't know if you guys work in the medical field or you do some kind of healing work. There's something about your guys' actual work that really impacts people and actually does help people in the long run. Or even if you work, say, as a waitress, the way that you talk to people or the way that you communicate with people, people remember that about you. People respect that about you. So there's something about the way that you work or the way that you do things. You are very respected, and a lot of people, they remember you for that. So that's something that a lot of people I'll be like, oh, I know this person from this workplace, or I understand this person because they do this and that. So you're very, like I said, very versatile. You really know how to get things done, but there's something about your workplace or your career or something that you do. And I feel like for some of you guys, it could even be a hobby that you do on the side that actually helps people and influences people. So there's something about, even if it's not, say for instance, even if you like just make jewelry or you do something that you would say, how does it help people? Whatever it is that you do, you leave a mark on people, you impact people, people remember you, you make people feel good. So even though sometimes people might be standoffish with you because of your blunt energy, you still have this amazing way of shifting and changing people's perspectives. You have this amazing way of making people feel special and making people feel loved. So here we have communication. I feel like you guys are really good at communicating. You're really good at your own self-expressions. I feel like you're the type of person who, when you go into a room, you make people feel loved. You make people feel supported. And like I said, you give really good sound advice and you tell people how you truly see something. And so it really does give people different perspectives. I feel like you guys, like I said, are very grounded, especially when it comes to your advice or certain things. Like you think things through. I feel like some of you guys have common sense, which a lot of people in this world, unfortunately, do not have. So I feel like you really help people out. And family is a huge one. A lot of people, especially if you have family, they really see you in a good light. Even if, say, for instance, you have bad blood with family, those family members will never admit it, but they really do respect you. So there's something about your life. If you have your own family of your own, you are really loving and supportive. I feel like you guys would be like the mama bear or the papa bear. You're really protective of those you love and those you care about, and you will always defend those you love and care about. And that's something that you impact others, because other people can see how much you care about your own tribe, how much you care about those that mean the most to you, because sometimes people, they don't really care about their family, or they don't really care about the ones around them. And I feel like you give a lot of love and time and energy into those people, and a lot of people respect that about you, and that's something that you're really remembered for. And that really does impact those around you, because they can really see how you interact with those around you that you really love, and it makes other people, give them a better perspective of like, I should treat my spouse better, I should do this. Like, you just kind of make people want to evolve, you kind of make people want to change. So we also have here third eye chakra. So I feel like you guys are very open, especially in the third eye. You guys are very active. I think you guys have a higher perspective, so you can really see things from a higher way. Like you have the big vision, the big picture. So I feel like you guys are the type of, and especially with that Jupiter card too, I feel like you guys see things from a higher position or higher up. So you're the type of person that you don't just say what you don't just say things that come out your mouth. You think about things beforehand. When you do a project, you think about the big picture as well. You don't just look at things from a smaller perspective and then just hope that things work out. Like, you think about the big picture and then you work towards making that a reality. And I think that's how you impact other people so much, is because you are helping people see that things can change, that you deserve better, that you are worthy, that they are worthy to actually make their dreams a reality. So you really influence people to actually get up and change and stuff, especially because I feel like you guys have gone through a lot in your past, and maybe things haven't worked out for you in the way you wanted, and you made that, even when things didn't work out for you, you still turned lemons into lemonade, because you guys understand that sometimes you don't always get what you want, but you deserve to have the best. So you guys have just worked really hard to get to where you are, and anytime you guys got obstacles or something would come in your way, you always learned to work through those, and you didn't make excuses about that. And that is something that has really impacted a lot of people in the way that they view you, because now they're actually seeing like, wow, if pile number 1 can do it, then I can do it too. So you really give people a lot of inspiration to really work towards their goals, because you've had things happen to you that, like I said, were not the best, but you still chose to see it in a positive light, or you didn't allow that to stop you from still going out there and achieving what it is that you want and desire. And so I feel like for a lot of you guys, that has really brought you guys to being more of a, it's like you guys are kind of like a role model for people, and people are really inspired by the way that you act, the way that you do things, and it's really inspiring to them because they didn't really realize how important this really was for them. And I feel like that's kind of what you guys do. You guys really bring out the best in people because you expect the best in people. And so a lot of people, they admire you for that because you really work hard towards the things that you want, and you always try to keep a positive outlook even when things are hard for you. And so a lot of people are inspired by that. And so that's what I have for my pile number 1. That is how you guys impact others. You guys are very grounded, very practical. You tell people how it is. And again, you don't let obstacles and other things stop you from achieving what you really want in life. You guys are kind of like the go-getter pile. You guys are the very responsible pile. A lot of people admire that about you, and they absolutely love that you are so kind and caring to those that are really important to you. So that's what I have for my pile number 1. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope that this resonates for you. Thank you so much. Have a great and wonderful day. Bye. All right, pile number 2. If you guys chose this deck or this beautiful stone, that is the solar plexus stone, this is going to be your guys' reading. So how do you guys impact others? Oops. How do you guys impact other people? All right, pile number 2. How do you guys impact others? So this is really funny. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I did clear this deck and I did shuffle it very well. And pile number 1 had the exact same 6th and 10th house, and this fell back out. And I thought, well, if it's meant to be, I will just have it come back out again. So when I did shuffle your cards, it popped out. I put it back in, I reshuffled, and it popped back out again. So this is very significant for this reading. So if you guys were drawn to pile number 1, then this might be also something in there for you, but it doesn't always have to be. So let's start off. How do you impact other people? Well, other people might actually see you as somebody who is not afraid of conflict, who isn't afraid to back down from a fight, but also knows when to give up, like when to not give up, but like when to continue the fight or when to not fight. You know what I mean? I don't know why I'm having a hard time trying to put it into words. It's like you pick your battles very wisely. You're not somebody who just fights to fight, but when you need to, you will. And I feel like that is the kind of energy that you guys give off and exude, is you're not afraid to fight when you need to, especially to protect those you love. I feel like a lot of people, they see you as somebody who is very kind and very caring, and they also see you as somebody who has gone through a lot. For some of you guys, I'm picking up on this pile that you have had a lot of physical health problems, or you've had some kind of a sickness that you guys have overcame or are in the process of healing. So you guys are the type of people, especially when we have the 6th house here and then we also have the physical health. I feel like some of you guys, you take your physical, emotional, and mental health very seriously. So how you impact others is you show other people how to live a healthier lifestyle. So when people are around you, they'll see, like, for instance, like maybe you have your smoothies in the morning, or you have a certain routine about how you keep yourself in shape, and people notice that about you, and it kind of inspires other people as well to take a little bit more accountability for their own health. And I feel like that is something that you guys really help other people with, and that's how you really impact people, is how you perceive and how you actually handle your own health. Because a lot of people, unfortunately, we just rely on doctors only, or we just don't put ourselves in that accountability of our own health. And I feel like you guys take it very seriously. I also feel like you guys are the type of person that just has those weird health facts, like, oh, if you eat this will be good for your health, and this is why. You're really good at things like that. Also, another thing is, you're very loving and very kind and very generous with a lot of people, and people really see that. And I think at one point, a lot of people took a lot of advantage of that, and perhaps that's why you're very discerning now. But I feel like you guys really do kind of come off as this loving, caring person. And I feel like a lot of people, when they see you, you kind of give off very soft, feminine vibes. And that is another thing that really impacts people, because in a world where masculinity is in the forefront, and in a world where we're always busy and always going, it's like you kind of make people stop and smell the roses. You kind of point out the beauty in the world. Like, you're the type of person that's like, oh my gosh, look at the sunset. And people stop and they admire the sunset, for even if it's only for a brief moment. Like, people love that about you, because you really draw people into noticing things about the world around them when they might have never noticed it before. So another thing as well is, you have a lot of this kind of Sagittarius vibe to you, where you know things. So people, when they first initially meet you, they may not actually realize how intelligent you really are and how wise you really are. And then when you start talking, it's almost like you talk in a very poetic way, or you talk in ways where it's almost like a riddle for people. People love to hear your voice too. I don't know if you have a very soothing voice. There's something about your voice that people love. So you really give off this Taurus, Libra vibes to people. And for a lot of you guys, I feel like you really impact people when it comes, like, you have good ideas when it comes to business. And I feel like another reason why you are so impactful to other people is you listen to people talk about what they wish that they could accomplish, and you help support them. You tell them good things. Like, if somebody tells you, like, oh, I would really like to open up a business and make cakes or something, you'll be like, oh my gosh, really? What got you into that hobby? And like, you're really curious about people. And I think that's another thing that impacts people, because you genuinely care about other people's opinions and about other people's perspectives. So I feel like this is like a very open-minded type of pile. So you guys are very open-minded. You really want to understand people. You're really nurturing, really supportive. So you're kind of like the mom of the friend group, right? Like, very Cancer vibes. Even if you're a guy tuning in, like, you're just really that type of person that you are, like I said, you're not afraid to stand up for yourself or other people. So it's not like you're not a wuss or anything. And it's like this it's like this soft, strong strength about you guys that you really exude, that a lot of people get impacted by because they feel seen, they feel heard, they feel supported. You might even have a lot of people that end up wanting you as a romantic interest, and you have to tell people, oh, I'm sorry, I don't feel that way about you, because you're the type of person that makes people feel so loved and seen that sometimes people misconstrued that you're just being very kind, and so people really want to date you, or people really want to be around you. So maybe you had to give people the talk where you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't actually feel that way. And you feel bad because maybe you actually hurt people's feelings when you say no to them. But you just really come off as this kind, loving, nurturing person. And I feel like you guys are very, like I said, very supportive of other people's dreams and other people's adventures. Like, you're not the type of person that just like tries to put other people down for what they want to do. Because, I know people like that where I'll be like, oh, I'd really like to do this. And then they're like, well, how are you going to make that a reality? And they're like very cynical. I feel like you guys are not really like that. You guys are very positive. You guys are very uplifting for people. And you really give people the ability to be like, yeah, go after your dreams, go for what you want. Especially when we have here the will. I know that this is the throat chakra because of the blue, but I feel like you guys have willpower, and that's something of the solar plexus. Like I said, you guys have this like hidden strength about you that people may not notice initially, but getting to know you, they're like, wow, you're like a warrior. You're like this person that like I said, you're not afraid to fight, but you also do not want to start the fights. And you guys have this willpower about you where you are direct and you want to go forward for something you want. So you are just like this very it's almost like a force to be reckoned with, because about like when people think about getting stuff done, when people think about going after something, they think more in the masculine energy, but you guys go for what you want in a more feminine way, in a more softer approach, and it's almost like it really cuts like kind of like surprises people, really like puts people off guard. They're like, whoa, I didn't expect you to go after this or to do this. So you guys are really a huge inspiration for people, because you show people that there's different ways to go after your goals. There's different ways of doing something. And I feel like this pile has been burnt out. Like maybe at one point you guys used to just push yourself and you're like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna go for this goal. And when you were tired, you just kept pushing and pushing. And I think that maybe could have attributed to your mental and emotional and physical health. And now you guys are smarter about it. Now you're like, wow, my body needs to rest. I'm gonna still go after my goals, but I'm gonna choose to rest for now so that tomorrow I can go for my goals even harder. So you guys are learning not to burn yourselves out as easily as maybe you once did in the past. With the crown chakra, I feel like you guys get instant downloads, and when you're around people and when you're talking to people, you may not realize this, pile number one, but pile number one, oh my goodness, some of you need to watch pile number one. Pile number two, when you're sitting there talking to people, you are getting downloads about this person, and then you speak the truth that they need to hear. So that's something that's crazy about you guys, is you know things about people before people even tell you, or you'll say something and it just clicks in their mind and they're like, oh my gosh, everything makes sense now. It's like you give people epiphanies. You help people see things from a different perspective, because you guys just kind of are so open with your crown chakra. I feel like your crown chakra has been very developed, so you get all kinds of downloads and you can see things and sense things and understand stuff. So you pick up on people's vibrations really easily, and that also helps protect yourself as well, because you can kind of get the feeling of if somebody is right for you or somebody isn't. And I feel like you guys maneuver around that, so you're very intuitive and you're very wise about using your own discernment around people. And I feel like, again, something about your health, like, I don't know if you guys have suffered a lot of health problems or is still currently in that process, but I feel like you just look healthy, you come off healthy, and I feel like that is like something that you strive for every day, is to get healthier and to get better. And I feel like people admire that about you, pile number two, because I feel like you guys have had your ups and downs with, like, say, weight or your health. There's something about it where maybe you're not getting enough sleep. Like, there's something about you guys that you've had a lot of physical elements that has maybe even impeded the way that you how you work and how you do things in life. And because of that, you've had to learn to, like I say, not burn yourself out, take breaks, work. Because I feel like you guys might even become kind of like a workaholic in a way. Because when you guys go for something, you really go for something, and sometimes you just don't take a break. And now it's like you're learning to do that. You're learning to take breaks. You're learning to love yourself. And I feel like it's really showing other people that they can do that too, that they have the ability to do that as well. And I also, like I said, with that communication card, there's something about how you just know what to say to people to really wake people up, to really get, and it's like not even intentional on your part. You'll just be sitting there having a conversation, and all of a sudden people are like, oh, this makes sense to me now. And like they have this big epiphany, and you're just sitting there like, okay, I wasn't even trying to do that. I was just telling you about something I learned, or telling you about this event I went through. And it's like people just, they're inspired by you, but they also just, you really help them almost organize their own thoughts, or help them kind of see things from a different perspective, and it really impacts them. And I feel like some people really don't tell you this. Another thing as well is at the bottom of the deck here, we also got responsibility, and that's the solar plexus. And I feel like that is something that you guys do, is you guys are very responsible. You don't let stuff in your life fall apart. So you know how some people, they'll put off paying bills, or they'll put off doing certain things. Even when you don't want to do it, pile number 2, you still choose to do it because you want to keep up with your life. You don't want your life to fall apart. And I feel like you're the type of person that you get into routines, you get into certain things, and so you try and keep those routines. And that is very inspiring to people, because a lot of people have a hard time keeping up with the schedule, or they have a hard time doing certain things. And you're like the type of people that you help other people see their worth, or you help other people kind of get organized. You just come off as a very organized, or a very like down to earth kind of a person. But I feel like a lot of you guys, you, like I said, you show a lot of love and a lot of support to people. And you're the type of person that you're not necessarily afraid to cut people off if they're not serving your highest good. And I feel that a lot of you guys have, like I said, taken advantage of a lot in the past. And I think that because of that, it has really shaped the way that you view people and the way that you view others. So you realize that if less somebody meets you halfway, they don't deserve to have that side of you, that loving, tender side of you. Like, I feel like when initially meeting you, you're very nice to people and you're very kind to people. But if they start to show toxic behavior, or just start to push your boundaries, you will probably distance yourself from that person, or you'll just not talk to them anymore. And so that's kind of, I feel like, how you've also learned to protect and love yourself. And the people that are around you, that does impact them, because they see that and they say, wow, that's smart, I should do that too. And so I feel like you kind of teach people a little bit more about their boundaries, and it's like you inspire people to set better boundaries, healthier habits, and you just inspire people to take better care of them, take better care of themselves, because you choose to take good care of yourself. And so that is how you really impact other people. And you just really come off very loving and very soft. And it's like realizing that being soft and being loving is not a weakness, it's actually a strength. And so you're really warping the way people see themselves and how they see other people, and especially feminine energy. People are like, you kind of inspire other people to choose to be softer and choose to be more loving in their own life as well. So I feel like you have a lot of an impact on others around you, because you're teaching other people that you can be loving and soft and kind, kind and not be walked all over and not just be a doormat, right? So you guys are really inspiring other people to be kinder to themselves and others around them. So that's really impactful and that's really inspiring. So that's what I have for my pile number 2. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope that this resonates for you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great and wonderful day, pile number 2. Bye. Okay, those of you that have chosen pile number 3 chose this deck or choosing this sacral chakra stone. So let's get into it. How do you guys influence or impact others around you? All right, pile number 3. How do you guys impact others? So as I was shuffling, I saw the Tower card, and my first thought was like, man, whoever this pile is might have a lot of Scorpio placements, and all of a sudden we got Pluto. So I feel like you guys are the change pile. You guys shift, like you guys wake people up. And what I mean by this is you guys come into people's lives unknowingly and not intentionally, but you'll come into their life and all of a sudden, next thing you know, people's whole lives change. And the reason I feel like this is the case is because your energy is very like Sagittarian and very Plutonic, where you kind of force people to see the reality of things. And I don't think it's you personally. I think it's just the energy, your aura, and the way that you just kind of come off to people. So I don't know if you guys notice that when you go into, say, dating people or anything like that. It's like something about you guys where people do not expect it, but the next thing you know, the whole life falls apart, where it's like all of a sudden bad stuff starts happening to them. And it's only because it's almost like you awaken people or shake people up to the reality of themselves, and the things that are not meant for their life kind of just starts to fall away. So you guys are kind of like that initial spark, that initial person that it's like a catalyst that just kind of wakes people to changing things about themselves or their life without even meaning to. I feel like you're the type of people that when you first come across people, maybe you're a little bit quiet, maybe you don't really talk to people too much, or if you do, you're just very reserved on what it is that you share. I do get the sense that a lot of you guys have had a lot of conflict in your life, or a lot of people that have kind of done you dirty, and maybe you hold on to that. So there's something about you guys that when people stare into your eyes, they can see a lot of pain and a lot of sorrow in your eyes. And it's like you're very intuitive. You know when other people, it's almost like you can sense people's intentions before really getting to know them or really getting to meet them. But I feel like you guys just really inspire people or really impact people because you almost seem sure about yourself. There's something about you that it's like, a lot of people do not know a whole lot about themselves. And I feel like you guys took the time to get to know what your likes and your dislikes are. And that is also really impactful to people because it really makes people be like, what do I like? What do I want? And it's like, you really show people that there's more to life than what meets the eye, and so you really inspire people to move forward. I also feel like you guys have always been the type of person that dreams big, and maybe a lot of people have made fun of you for that, or have thought, nah, you can never achieve that, you can never do that. But like, you try to move forward with that, still being like you hold your dreams close to your heart. Like you don't just let other people's opinions influence you to the point where you give up on yourself. Like you seem to be the type of person that you really do try to be there for others, but like when it comes, like push comes to shove, you'll choose yourself every time, because you know and you realize that nobody else is going to be there for you or going to give you the love that you deserve. If you know what I mean, like you don't abandon yourself for other people. I think in the past you might have done that, pile number 3, but I feel like now you've grown and realized like I need to be there for myself. I need to hold on to myself. So you guys are like the love yourself kind of a pile. And because of that, I feel like that also kind of wakes people up, because they realize like they are settling for things that they know they could do better, that they deserve better, but they've settled because they've given up on themselves or they've given up on their dreams. So you kind of are the type of person that's like shoot for the stars, land on the moon, and you are content. Like you're happy because you know that while you go for the things you want, eventually you're going to get to that star. Even if you're on the moon, you're not going to be satisfied. You're going to keep going. So you inspire people because you choose to keep getting better every year. You're improving and you're constantly improving. You're constantly changing. And it inspires other people around you to do the same, because people get into these cookie cutter modes where they stay like they only kind of stay in that 1 or 2 dimensional personality, but you're like constantly evolving and you're constantly trying to update your beliefs, your feelings. So you guys are constantly changing, and it gives other people the permission to change as well. Because I feel like you're the type of people too that you have like when you dress or when you style yourself, you're never consistent with it. You're always like one day I'm gothic, the next day I'm a girly girl, the next day I'm this. Even if you're a guy, like the way that you dress, the way that you appear to people, it's never like it's always the same. You know, you're always changing up, you're always evolving, you know, you're on to the next project. You're not just the type of person that stays stagnant. And I feel like when you do stay stagnant, there's a part of you that becomes restless. And so you have to get up and move, and you have to get up and change. And I feel like that's the Aries part of you. I'm picking up Capricorn, Aries, Scorpio, even Pisces. But I feel like for a lot of you guys, you are the type of people that you have to keep evolving and you have to keep growing, or else you start to get anxious or you start to get restless, because it's almost like that's your soul's journey, is to get out of that, to move forward in that. And Pluto is kind of that planet of change, the planet that never stays the same. It's always evolving. There's layers to it. It's in depth. There's things to you. So you guys are really that type of people that you refuse to settle, and you refuse to, it's like when people come up to you and they give you an offer, you're going to look at that and be like, nah, it's not worth it, or yeah, it's worth it. So you're very discerning about who you let into your life, what you let into your life. You're the type of person that's like quality over quantity. So you would rather have fewer friends than to have fake friends that are like multiple friends, but they're fake, you know? So you're really in depth. You're like, no one can penetrate my soul, because my soul is so deep that no one truly will ever understand me. And that's the type of person you are. So when you go through life and you walk through life, you kind of have this sense of internal dignity. There's some kind of dignity about you. There's some kind of it's like you just really force people to see themselves, to really question their options. You don't just go for what's going to serve you in that moment. You look at it and you say, is this going to help me in the long run? Another thing too is we have here that south node, and the south node is your comfort zone. It's what you're familiar with. It's kind of like a past life. It's things that you've already developed, and so you use your talents that you've developed in past lives now. But you are the type of person that when you stay in your comfort zone for too long, like I said, there's this anxiousness. You start to notice that things in your life will fall apart. So it's almost as though the universe, life, people, circumstances, everything everything around you is almost forcing you to get out of that south node. It's like forcing you to get out of your comfort zone, forcing you to move forward. So you're always evolving and you're always changing. And that is so inspirational, and that really impacts others, especially people you date. You need somebody that is not going to be stagnant. You can't be with somebody that's like an earth sign, right? Where they're structured and they stay that way forever. Like you're the type of like airy, fiery person that needs to like you stay structured, you do things that you need to do, but you are like, I need somebody that's going to evolve with me. I need somebody that's going to change with me, who wants to grow with me. I can't stay stuck in the same routines. I can't stay stuck in where I was. If I was where I was last year, then it's like a part of you feels like you're dying. So you're really that inspiration because you're constantly evolving and you're constantly changing and you're not settling for less. And that's another thing too, is I feel like you guys are focused and dedicated with that Capricorn card. Even though you guys are constantly evolving and changing, a lot of people may think you're chaotic because maybe your life is a little crazy or chaotic at times, but it's almost like you understand that there's a reason for that, and it's like you learn to just go with it. And at the same time, you still hold your posture, you still are moving through the obstacles, and you still stay grounded, you still choose to work through those even if it seems hard. And I feel like that's such an impact on others, because other people, they probably could not handle the life that you live, because how you live your life is so vastly different than the majority of people. Like I feel like this pile is very artistic, and if you're not artistic, you're very like logical. There's something about you guys where you have certain talents that people see, and I feel like that could even make people jealous of you. So you guys are the type of pile that might have a lot of hidden enemies, or might have a lot of people who are jealous or envious of you, because you just come off as so multi-talented that people are like, wow, pile number 3 just thinks they're just the best. But that's not true. Like, you know what is right for you and what's not. And I feel like you guys are very honest with people. You're very transparent with people. You tell people how it is. You tell people how you feel. You're not afraid to let people know where you stand in relationships and where you stand in your life. And if people cannot accept it, then you allow that to be a thing and you move on. So you don't try and change people. You tell people what you see is what you get, what you hear is how I am. Like, I'm not lying to you. Like, you're very open and honest, and I feel like a lot of people appreciate that about you, and then other people don't, because they want to hear, they almost like, some people prefer to be lied to than to get the truth. So I feel like you kind of might notice that about certain people, is that some people may not like that about you, how honest you are, but you don't care. You choose to stay authentic. And I feel like there are times when maybe you wish that you were like, sometimes when, say for instance, like, there have been times in your life, pile number 3, where you weren't honest and you regretted it because it came back around and bit you in the butt, and now you don't do that anymore. So I feel like you guys have really learned from your mistakes, and you've grown from it. You've learned, even though there are certain things in your past that you're still holding on to, perhaps because you don't fully understand certain things about your past, you still choose to move forward. You still choose to go forward, even though life can be hard at times. You don't allow certain things to hold you back. And that is another reason you impact other people. And I feel like you guys, you really care about your dreams. I also get that you're the type of pile that either is like has dreams and you wake up and you remember them, like you either astral project or you lucid dream. So your dreams are very vivid, and I feel like some of you guys write down stuff in your journal, like a dream journal, and if you don't, you should, because I feel like you guys get a lot of messages in your dreams. You're very connected to your subconscious, whether you realize it or not. There is some kind of bridge that connects you to your subconscious, and not everybody has that. And I feel like you change, you evolve, you grow, and you learn, and it inspires other people, it impacts other people, because it's almost like you kind of come off mystical or woo-woo to people, and it intrigues people, especially those that are just logical, because I feel like you're like, oh, I'm into tarot or astrology, like you're into esoteric stuff, and a lot of people around you may not really be into that, and so you kind of like pique people's interest. So you're the type of person that, like, you influence other people to explore the depths of their own subconscious. And I feel like the way that you guys communicate, you communicate in such a way that it kind of shakes people's worlds, because you're the type of person that, like, if somebody has some kind of an issue, they're like, oh, I don't know why I'm having a hard time with this or that. You're like, oh, well, have you ever tried this, or did you ever think about that? And it's like you give advice, you say something, and it all of a sudden they're like, wow, I never thought about it like that, or oh, I never thought that that would actually be the case, but I think you're right. And so you kind of wake people up to the reality of themselves and the reality of things. And you're also the type of person that it's almost like you believe that things happen for a reason, so you don't like, you kind of let things just like run off your back. You don't try to control people. And I feel like in the past, pile number 3, you used to try to control other people, or at least the way other people perceived you. And now you're realizing, like, man, I can't do that. That's not my life. I can't allow other people to just have some, it's like you realizing you trying to control other people wasn't helping you, wasn't serving you or them. And so you guys pulled back a lot. You guys worked through yourselves a lot. And now it's like you just, whatever comes your way, whatever people say or do to you, it's like you're the type of pile that you are in the process right now of learning not to take things so personally. Even though at times I feel like it could be hard for you, you try not to take things personally, because you really understand that other people are going through stuff too, and it's not always about you. And so you guys have gotten to the point where you're inspiring other people to not take things as personally, because I think you used to be that type of person that used to take things to heart a little too much, and that could have impacted you, and now you're learning to protect your energy and to protect yourself. I also feel like you guys are very responsible, and you don't just it's like you take accountability for yourself, and you work on yourself daily to improve yourself, because you are the type of person that knows that even though obviously we need to love ourselves where we're at the moment, you understand that there's always room for improvement, that there's always things that you can improve upon yourself, and because of that, you work and you strive for that, and that also inspires people. So the way that I feel like you impact other people is that it's almost like you make other people stop and question where in their life are they settling, where in their life are they not happy, and it's almost like you are the type of person, like I said, that does not like stagnancy. Like, you always need to grow and you always need to improve. And because of that, it really makes other people be like, man, I really should improve this part of myself. Or, like, pile number 3 does this, I should do that too. So you really move people emotionally, especially with that sacral plexus, sacral plexus, the sacral chakra. You really make people really pay attention to their emotions, and you really evoke emotions out of people. So you're the type of person that people will think their life is just fine, and then they meet you and all of a sudden their life is upside down. They're all emotional, they don't know what to do, and sometimes they don't even correlate that with you. It's just that upon meeting you, it's almost as if something shifted and changed in them, and all of a sudden now their whole life is kind of going down the spiral, and they're learning to let go of things that don't serve them anymore. So you, like I said, you had that very Plutonic, very Scorpio, very Capricorn energy about you, and it really forces people to grow up, and it really forces people to see their own, like, where they play their own part in their own lives. So yeah, that's really impactful, pile number 3. I hope that this resonated for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great and wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.